Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new, hi, my name is Genise, and I'm helping you get your skill set up so that you can make some money online from the comfort of your home. If that's something that interests you, then keep on watching and don't forget to subscribe if you find this video helpful. We're going to continue on with another skill set Saturday, and we're going to stick with Canva again. I feel like there's so much you can do with Canva, and it leads to many different ways that you can make money using Canva, so I really want to dig in with Canva to begin with for our skill set Saturdays. If there's anything else you would want me to dig into maybe next week or the week after, maybe CapCut for editing or something like that, let me know in the comments. But for this video, we're actually going to go through how to edit your photos in Canva and all of the fun stuff that you can do. If you didn't see the last skill set Saturday, it's going to be linked down below in the description as well as above in the eye. So you can check that one out when you're done with this one. And in that one, I just gave you an overall look into what Canva has to offer, and I introduced you to the platform and all of its capabilities. So without further ado, today's skill set Saturday is going to be about editing your photos in Canva, and I'm going to show you all of the cool things that you can do here. So let's get into it. Any element you click on in a design is editable. Is that a word? Editable? You can edit it. So for this one here, we're going to click on my photo and choose that, and we're going to come up here to edit photo. Pretty simple, right? So you have effects, adjust, so that changes like the temperature, brightness, all of that, and crop. We're just going to go in order. So for this one, we're going to play around with the background remover, BG remover right here. So we're going to click on that, and what that's going to do is that it's going to actually take out my background. We can play around with that and make it bigger, make it smaller. This is how I do a lot of my YouTube video thumbnails when it's just me on a different background. So that is simple as pie, I think. And of course, once you do this, you can start layering on different effects. So we already took out the background remover. We could come down here and maybe change the filter, and oh, that's actually a pretty one. I like the color it made my lips there. And then we could also come down here and maybe create some shadows and give me a glow, which I tend to like to do. And yeah, that is all about the background remover. Let's move on. The next thing I want to talk about is a fun one. It's the magic eraser. The magic eraser is good for when there's something in a picture that is kind of ruining what you had in mind, or maybe someone is in the background and you don't want them in the background. It can be useful for that. It's very useful in situations like this where it's a flat lay, but let me just show you quickly. So I'm gonna go ahead and choose the photo, click edit photo again, and we're gonna go to magic eraser. Now when you click on magic eraser, it's going to tell you to pick the size of the brush. Okay, I think that's good. And let's say I just did not want this ice cream cone. For me and for my purposes, it just didn't suit what I was trying to do that specific day. I don't want the ice cream cone there. I brush over it, give it a moment to think and to work, and eventually the ice cream will be gone. See that? So I think that is pretty darn awesome. I wonder how far I could actually do this. Let's do all of that. Let's say I just wanted I like the background, I like the plants, I like the pens, the notebooks, the papers. I didn't like all these extra little doodads and gizmos. Let's see what happens. I mean, that's pretty awesome, right? So that is the magic eraser. Okay, moving on. Next is magic expand. I should also make note, let me just click on this and get to edit photo again. I should also note anything here that you see the little crown next to it, like these guys here, are only available to you if you sign up for Pro, and that is the paid version of Canva. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So here I just picked a photo from Canva, which is this beach photo, and we're going to do magic expand. So for this photo, let's say I wanted it to be the whole page. I could easily, do this, right? I could easily do that, but it's going to cut off some of the sand now because it doesn't fit perfectly in that space. Okay, let's go back to that. So we're going to hit on magic expand, and I'm going to tell it that I want it to be the whole page. So we'll click on that, and then we'll click on Magic Expand. And I also want to bring to your attention that when we did Magic Expand, it also brought us over to the crop section. So you can find Magic Expand here under Effects, and you can also find it here under the crop. Click on Magic Expand, and we'll let it do its thing. Okay, so now what it ended up doing was creating like an extension of the photo off to the sides using what it saw here in the initial photo. You'll notice that with some of them, it won't be as obvious where the lines of demarcation are. You can see them right here from the original photo, right? So that's one option. They give you several options to choose from. You find the one that you're the most comfortable with, and right now I think that the first one might actually be the best one. Moving on, we're going to go to Magic Edit, and this one has been so much fun for me to play around with. This one is really cool. So what you're going to do is select the photo, going to go to Edit Photo, and we're going to click Magic Edit, right? So now again, here's the brush. I think I want it a little smidge bigger, and like the picture is great, right? But let's say we want a little bit more color than just this green plant here. We're going to highlight that, right? So we're going to color it in, and then we're going to click Continue. And let's say instead of that, I would like to actually replace that green little plant on the desk with some pink, no, let's go with peonies in a crystal vase, right? We're going to give the AI a description to work with. Then we're going to click Generate, and we're going to wait. And now we have some options here. I'm feeling this one, I think. Right? So there we have it. We have replaced that little green plant with some flowers. Raggedy Ann doll. Let's see how good it does. And this is where I always fall down the rabbit hole, because I love replacing the things and just messing around with stuff and making goofy pictures. Oh my gosh. Okay. Alright. So there we have it. We have our little Raggedy Ann doll just sitting there staring at us. So yeah, you have your Magic Edit there. So now we're going to move on to Magic Grab. And this one, when you click on Magic Grab, it's just going to do its job, and it's going to pick the person or the thing that is, you know, the focal point of the photo. And what we're going to be able to do after it does its thing is pick it up and move them over. So now me and Annie are floating. I could see this being very helpful if you're doing like a thumbnail and you wanted to kind of move yourself a little bit over so you're not blocking the title of a video or something like that. It's not one that I use very often, but I could see how it could be helpful, and it's definitely funky. It's definitely fun and funky. Like, hello. Next on the list is Grab Text, and this one is kind of interesting because now instead of grabbing the person from the photo, we're going to be able to grab all of this, which I should have showed you previously. I couldn't click on any of this because it's a photo, right? Obviously, you can't pick on the writing from a photo, but with Grab Text you can. And now it's giving me the option to edit all of the writing that was originally on this magazine cover, and it's going to use the same font. So I can literally just sit there and say, hey, this is Genisable, and this is for the let's move you up a little bit, and this is the October 2023 let's see, October 2023, and let's see, this is how you use Grab Text. Dun 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 dun! Then there you have it. You can do and change it to anything you like. You could just delete things completely if you don't like them at all and you want them gone. So that is grab text, and I think it's a pretty cool one to play around with. I think it was one of the newer ones that they just introduced with the Magic Studio. Okay, so the next one we're going to play around with is filters. So as per usual, we select the photo, we go to edit photo, and then we're going to go down here to filters. And this one is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, by now I think with the use of Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, we all know what filters are by now, right? Facebook even has filters for your profile pictures. So you click on there, and here is where you get to play with how you want the photo to look and what feel you want to give. And then the wonderful thing about this is that you can choose its intensity as well. So you could go all the way to 100, or you can bring it down and go somewhere in between. And that's basically the filters. Moving on to effects now. And I kind of quickly showed you earlier at the beginning a little bit about the effects, about shadows, but let's go through them all here. So we can either make a photo glow, so that kind of gives it a, you guessed it, glow. Okay, and then you can change things like size of the glow. Do you want the blur to be very blurry, or do you want it to not be blurry at all and be more of a solid glow all around? You could change the angle of which the glow is going. You could change the distance, and then you can change the intensity. So you can also use this, like I showed you before, on photos that you've removed the background from. So you have glow, you have drop, which creates a shadow effect behind you. Usually that one, I keep it more on the black side, like when I want to create some sort of shadow or make it look like I'm standing in front of something. And then outline, autofocus. So autofocus is actually going to blur out the background and keep the subject in the front, in the center, nice and crisp. So that would be your autofocus. Now the other effect that we have down here to play around with is the blur effect right here. And when you do that, it just blurs out the whole picture. It doesn't matter if it's, in the foreground or anything like that. It just blurs out the whole thing. And then down here, what do we have? Mockups. So now they have better mockups for when you want to show a product that you're trying to sell and you want to show it in action, like on a laptop or on a phone, a tablet, or maybe you created a print-on-demand design, you want to show it on a t-shirt. The mockups would be good for that. Yeah, so you can pick one of these. I'm going to drag on over a photo into right over the mockup, and there I am. Look at me. It's someone is looking at my picture on their phone. Okay, so that is all there is for effects. So now that we've gone through all the effects, let's go and do adjust. So here you can do auto adjust, and then you could change the intensity of it here. So you can select the area. So either you're going to edit the entire image, you're going to edit the foreground, which is the front, whatever is in the forefront, and then you also have the option to edit the background, which is obviously in the back of the photo. So for here would be all these green leaves and stuff. I'm going to keep it on whole image for now. And then it starts to break down all of the adjustments that you can make. And if you have an iPhone, this is probably going to look very familiar to you because, it's the usual suspects. So you have your white balance, and that you have your temperature. Do you want it to be more of a cool photo, more on the blue side, or do you want it to be more warm? And that's more on the yellow orangey side. That is white balance. Then you go to the light. So then we come down to colors, and we can mess around with the vibrance, and we can mess around with saturation. And saturation is the amount of color that's there. So if we take away saturation, that means we are headed towards the area with no color. We're going to black and white. They're showing you the main colors that are in your photo, and you can mess around with each color individually. So like we can make that green back there, or brighter. And going down further, you mess around with textures. And I believe those are all, yep, those are all the options for under adjust. Okay, you can crop it. So you could either freeform crop it yourself, or you could choose one of many aspect ratios or the size. And then, like I told you earlier when we did the Magic Expand, I think it's called. Yeah, Magic Expand. It's also under the crop label here, so that was what we originally spoke about at the beginning. And yeah, that's how you can go about editing your photos on Canva. Those are all the different things you could possibly do to your photos. They've been adding to it more and more. If you get on with the free account, you can play around with certain effects yourself, the filters, the adjusting, cropping, and just kind of familiarize yourself with it. That's the best way to always go, is just to kind of get a hands-on experience with it. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments and I will try to get to them in the next video. I hope you found this video helpful, and I will see you guys in the next Skill Set Saturday. Thanks for watching. Bye.